Well, hey everyone, how's everybody doing? It's good to see you back here at Milton's Monday Motivational Message. Ladies and gentlemen, men, fathers, mothers, leaders, educators, there's a lot of noise right now about our boys and men struggling. We hear words like crises, epidemic, toxic masculinity, fragility, collapse, and I want to start today by saying something that you may be surprised to hear. None of this is new. Men have always struggled. Depression, feeling lost, feeling unloved, feeling like you don't belong. That has been a part of the human condition for thousands of years. So the question is not whether men are struggling. The real question is this: what's different now? And more importantly, what are we missing? Let's ground this in history, not just headlines. More than 2,000 years ago, the book of Ecclesiastes opened with this line: meaningless, meaningless, everything is meaningless. That wasn't written by a weak man. That was written by a king. Now, fast forward to ancient Rome. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, wrote in his personal journal about emptiness, moral decay, loss of purpose, comfort weakening men. That journal is now called Meditations. Great book, by the way. Hey, look, during the Middle Ages, men wrote endless about acedia, a spiritual depression, a loss of meaning. And after World War I, an entire generation of men was literally called the lost generation. These men weren't soft. They weren't, easy going laid-back guys. They were traumatized, disoriented, and disconnected from meaning. So let's be clear. Men struggling is not new. Anyone who says otherwise, they just don't know their history. So here's where we need precision. Look, men are not worse emotionally. They are, however, worse structurally. Historically, men did not have to discover purpose, right? Purpose was assigned. They were farmers or craftsmen, some even soldiers, apprentices, and they were providers. They belonged to guilds, they belonged to regiments, they had a church and a tribe that they belonged to. Your role was clear even if life was hard. Today, purpose is optional. Manhood is oftentimes undefined. Responsibility is negotiable. That is new. And that actually matters. So let's talk honestly about technology. See, technology didn't invent despair, but it did and it does amplify it. And here's some ways that it actually amplifies it, right? So constant comparison. Our teenage boys, today, they compare themselves to influencers, athletes, millionaires, unrealistic ideas. Historically, he compared himself to 5 men in his village. Second, dopamine without effort. Endless stimulation, gaming, porn, scrolling, binging. All reward, no responsibility. That rewires the brain, right? Third, isolation disguised disconnection. Men used to suffer together. They used to suffer together. Now they suffer alone, online, convinced everyone else is winning. That combination of things like that is unprecedented. The core issue is not that men are broken. The issue is that men have no ikigai, or no purpose, as the Japanese would say. But let's sharpen that word. Men do not need abstract purpose. They need 4 specific things historically proven. They need responsibility, someone who depends on them. They need competence. They can do hard things. They know this. They need belonging. You know, they wonder oftentimes, am I part of something bigger, such as the Army? They need to be able to contribute. You know, does this effort matters? You know, you remove those 4 things and you don't get laziness, you get depression, you get anger turned inward, you get withdrawal, you get nihilism. I mean, give those 4 things back and men rise. Not with therapy alone, right? But also with structure. So let me say this clearly, because I don't come from this conclusion from a book or a podcast. I lived it for decades as a youth leader and then as a soldier. I was responsible for boys and young men. Many of them lost, angry, undisciplined, unfocused, and convinced they had no future. They didn't need more sympathy. They didn't need to be told they were broken. What they needed was purpose. And under my charge, I watched what happens when young men are given responsibility, clear standards, brotherhood, and a mission bigger than themselves. I watched boys become disciplined men. I watched direction replace chaos. I watched purpose turn potential into performance. And many of those young men went on to become some of the most productive citizens of this nation. Leaders, professionals, husbands, fathers, and public servants. And here's something else most people don't even want to talk about. This sense of lostness, it does not stop at the bottom. I have seen it at the highest levels of our society. Men in government, men in business, men in education, in medicine, in religious institutions. I've seen it all. Men with titles and power and money and influence. Titles don't grant purpose. Status doesn't create meaning. Achievement does not immunize you from emptiness. Lostness shows up everywhere when purpose is missing. So, leaders, look, they're not lost in societies unless we allow for that. And that's an option. That's not an option. That's an observation, right? I didn't start life by succeeding. I failed kindergarten. I mean, let that sink in for a little bit. I mean, kindergarten is supposed to be a freebie, and I failed at it. I mean, I failed the first grade. I failed academically for years. I dropped out of multiple colleges. I was told more than once that I didn't have the right pedigree. I mean, I failed to get into the military multiple times. How many of us haven't failed that relationship? And yet, when I joined the Army, I mean, come on, man, something changed. I was given responsibility, standards, brotherhood, and a mission. No one cared about my feelings. They cared about my performance and contribution, right? To the team, to the unit, to the organization. And that saved my life. Not because the Army is perfect, but because purpose was not optional. Some people say men aren't worse off today. Well, here's the correction. Men are not worse internally. However, they oftentimes are worse off organizationally. I mean, previous generations, they suffered more physically, but they were needed. Modern men suffer less materially, but are often optional. You see, men can endure pain. What they struggle to endure is irrelevance. Look, across civilizations, when men lose clear roles, responsibility, respect tied to contribution, societies experience decadence, polarization, violence, or total withdrawal. Now, again, this is not ideology. This is history. So the answer is not shaming men, pathologizing masculinity, or endless validation without expectation. The answer is rebuilding pathways to purpose. Guys, I mean, come on, let's get this done. Not through slogans, through service to others, developing and learning a skill, I mean, setting high standards. I mean, through brotherhood, through taking 100% responsibility for life that they own. Look, let me leave you with this. Men are not broken. They are underutilized. They are not toxic, most often. They are untasked. They do not lack strength. They lack a mission worthy of their strength. So give a man purpose and he will find meaning, baby. Give him responsibility and he will rise. Trust me on this. So hey, look, check this out. If this message resonated with you today, this is what I want you to do for me. Subscribe to the 4M Club. Share this with a man who needs direction, right? Work with me, at Milton's motivational message in America's Failure Command. I'm Georgie A. Milton, the founder of America's Failure Command, author of multiple books. Failure is not the problem, it's the beginning of your success. Failure is not the problem, it's your leadership. And for kiddos out there, is Georgie A Failure? You can find those all in links below. Hey, visit georgiamilton.com. You can reach out to me and contact me personally at americasfailurecommand@gmail.com. Hey, remember, success comes and goes, failure stays. I train people to respond, and as your coach, I'm here to help you use your failures to respond and rise and become everything you were meant to be. So check this out. We're going to see you on the hilltop. This is Major FailureTastic signing out. Hooah.